Hey everybody, it's me Knight, and I just want to make a brief video because about a conversation with angels. I've had many unexpected conversations with angels, and everybody has angels, whether you want to call them angels or spirit guardians, whatever. But we all have a force that's protecting us. And I'm just bringing this out. Maybe y'all can relate. Y'all might not like this video because it's too light, or y'all just not into that. Y'all just want to go watch tarot readings. But I just want to make this video. Something compelled me to do this. So, I wanted to say this, man. From guardian angels protecting us, guiding us, as a collective, the angels, they also want us to, how can I say, something y'all should know, and y'all probably already know, be grateful for Earth. No matter your belief system, whether you're Muslim, Christian, or any of that, from my personal perspective, because I've had angels, like I think I made a video when I was 3 years old, fell down the stairs, they told me what to do, like as far as cover my head, they saved me. They brought me back to life. I had a lot of life-death situations, passing out, electrocuted, almost getting shot, and all kind of stuff. But other than things like what I've been through, and y'all might have had things like that too, they don't want us to look out for the animals on Earth. The reason I say that, because during the time of COVID, I had a vision, right, where the angels showed me submarines and certain military equipment under the water, and they were showing me how the radiation affected the sea life, and it brought me down there in this vessel. And me as an ex-military guy, this is a big deal, and I always knew it affects things, but I didn't really realize how much harm it did. And it showed the radiation coming off the sub and going through the ocean, right, through the water, right, pretty much killing the animals, mainly the whales and dolphins, because they have like sonar, and it was messing them up, and they would like go off track and wash ashore. So, because back in the day, I used to think just pollution, like actual trash, physical trash, but not realizing, of course, I knew about fumes and gas and oil and other things like that from ships, but I didn't really think about the radiation. But it was a big deal that it was frying. It was like the water, it's like the electricity and the electrons just messing them up. And so they said somebody needs to do something about this. So I made a video about this on another channel I used to have, because even though I'm not an environmental scientist or anything like that, I just put it out there to hopefully spark the mind that somebody can help and change it, make a law. Same thing, I had another vision. I was outside of Earth. Even though people might think Earth is flat, I was outside of a spear-shaped object, which was Earth. And they show how floods would come to certain countries, which I'm not going to name. It was pretty interesting. And then they told me somebody needs to do something like that. And so the reason I'm saying this, when they kept saying somebody needs to do something like that, they protect us, but we have to call them in. Just like if you believe in Jesus or God or whatever you want to believe in, you can believe in demonic spirits, anything. But if you're trying to call, like their spirits always around us, right? And they try to intervene, but they can only do so much with our free will, because we have free will. Even darker spirits know that, so you have to ask. But also, when it came to Earth, what I'm trying to get at, we have to do our part. Even if you think, oh, I'm just a good Samaritan, I'm a good person, just like raising my children and all that, we have to do more. And even if you don't have a lot of money, just take care of your yard, man. Don't leave trash on your yard. Take care of your garden. Respect the trees. So even if you're praying over your family, be grateful that, hey, I still live on Earth. It can, again, it's not really materialistic and materialistic thinking like that, even if people want to say the world is the devil. The fact is, you still supposed to appreciate this. And this is something I was shown, and I feel like all humanity is being judged for. And I don't mean in a biblical Bible way. I'm just saying we're being judged as far as like what kind of karma we're going to get. All cultures. So if certain countries are not doing the environment right, you'll start noticing certain things in certain parts of the world are more damaged than other parts of the world that respected it. So I'll give you an example. America's kind of getting out of hand a little bit, like with infrastructure, building a lot of houses, probably overbuilding shit, stuff, excuse my language. But the thing is, though, the original people who were on America were like Native Americans. They tried their best to take care of nature. They always talk about Mother Earth, Father Air, right? And then when we came over here and got colonized, they lost that, And then you can look at this as all kind of other countries, India and all that, right? But you can tell who kind of left that. And then we're all getting karma. So other than us hurting each other and doing each other wrong, right? We're not respecting nature, and that's a big deal, because even if you are a star seed or somebody who's thinking all spiritual like that, we're here to learn a lesson. So how are you going to damage the main place that we're here to learn a lesson is, and also messing the seeds up for the future? And even if you believe in revelations, right? I hope you know you just can't jump in water and think it's gonna be okay and your karma is over. That's not how it works. And this is from a Christian, right? A former, like pretty much a man who came out of Christianity. Meaning, when I mean by come out, I respect it, but I consider myself spiritual. But coming through a family who's still Christian, I've been baptized many a time, never hurt anybody. But even seeing my own grandfather come back on his knees, who was a missionary, right? And that's because he acknowledged me and my mom is pretty much his like children, right? Because we weren't birthed by he didn't get my grandmother pregnant. He was another man before him. And so my mom was born from another man before him. So it's like he had his own kids. He kind of separated him, But even though he was, how can I say, providing, it wasn't proper love, and I still feel like he left here with a scorned heart or some type of burden or regret, and they made him come back doing his life review. So if y'all don't want to believe that, that's the truth, and that's the most scariest thing I've seen. I've seen ghosts, demons, and all that, but the scariest thing to me was to see my own grandfather, step grandfather, come to me on his knees 3 times to ask me for forgiveness, and he had an angel over him. So there is a life review. And if you think you're not going to come back here, you are going to get reincarnated. You might not be incarnated immediately within the next 5 or 10 years after you pass. It could be 1,000 years if you so choose to, a spirit guide. You ain't got to believe it. I'm telling you the truth, man. But the biggest message I'm getting out of this before I end this video is, man, respect nature, respect everybody, respect your neighbor. Because I'm telling you right now, one of the biggest messages I have in one of my visions was, it was like an energy presence of what y'all would call the omnipresent source or God or whatever. And it was like the main reason this has happened, war and conflict, because they don't acknowledge the loving presence of, how can I say, the divine, and also loving each other enough, respecting each other enough. There's so much separation between cultures and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. And then not only that, even though we have a couple of people trying to do things with nature, it's not enough. It's really not enough, because they told me we can't keep trying to fix this world like we did in the 90s. And I was a child in the 90s, so it's like, dang. And so, because they say even though we're recycling, we're doing stuff, it's still not enough. Because sad to bust people's bubbles, it doesn't matter if there's a war and conflict or anything to start off right now, that is not the end of the world. From actually what the angels that I physically see on my eyes, and also just the visions and the epiphanies, no. And whether y'all want to believe that or not, and the more y'all speak these negative, how can I say, affirmations about, oh, the world's going to end, the world's going to end, all you do is put more fear in the air. And so it's one thing to be aware and put people in caution to be bracing themselves that things can get worse. But don't do that, because all you're doing is feeding the negative energies, and you're making it harder for the angels to do their job. And it doesn't mean that they're not more powerful, but they have to let us have our free will, even if it means self-destruction, right? Or depopulation until we get better, because there is a bit of chaos before the order. And I don't believe that kind of saying, but that's what's going on, because humanity as a collective, we're awakening. It seems a lot of us like to stay in the dark, as far as I would say evil. I don't want to say dark, just evil. Right, you can see it on movies and stuff. Like we would rather watch a horror movie before we watch an angel movie. We rather watch drama and murder movies before we watch somebody doing good, right? And we'll watch something like that, and then we'll contradict ourselves in our reality. So we're doing our family right. We're not even at least smiling at anybody. We're not doing anything happy or nice. Us helping a couple of homeless people and all that is not enough. And so it doesn't mean that that's not helping you, benefit you, and have a good deed. But if it's a collective, we're gonna rise, right, in some type of utopia. We have a lot of work to do. And then also with a lot of how can I say, old ways of thinking, indoctrination, or philosophies, whether it be from Greece, Christianity, Judaism, Mithraism, anything. We a lot of those are truth, but we don't know, we didn't live there. We're making assumptions, we're guessing. And so it's gotten to my mind too that we're so set into the past. We can learn from the past, and yes, the past can repeat itself, but I'm also a person that, how do you know that there won't be a prophet now or somebody that can actually speak the same truth that was given back then, if we can pretty much open our mind to reach that consciousness, that awareness, right? Instead of just bashing, because again, we don't know. Then you're calling out things, and then again, if you're in a certain culture that's indoctrinated by the same energy or religious things or a certain spirituality, that's what you're going to bring to you. It's like law of attraction, and then they'll think it's right. And then when you get more collectives and collectively believing in the same thing, it is going to manifest, of course, because now you don't know this. Even if you're not into spells, your mind has formed a deity, okay? When the whole object of Earth is to learn, the main goal, no matter what, is to love each other, right? And to share love everywhere, right? And then if you want to look at the commandments, those details was broken down for you to be a good Samaritan. But if you're a good Samaritan, you know how to love, you wouldn't do your neighbor wrong. You wouldn't kill nobody. You wouldn't unalive anybody. You wouldn't hurt anybody. You wouldn't do anything, right? That all goes into the actual genuine love. And if people are trying to split love out and try to figure out what it is, love is the truth and the only way. There is no name, there is no title to that, but so many people want to put a title on it. There's so many aspects that love can be. You know, it's crazy, man. And even when you look at hate, it's just people and jealousy. It's like people see something in you that they might hate, but it's actually they love you and they in denial of it. But it's just so much going on, man. I just wanted to say this, man. It's just we really need to come together. I'm not saying we're not, and this, like, how can I say, disregard everything. Like, even though God, like, you know, bless the souls that have might have passed on and brought wisdom to us, whether it be from my ancestors, and they had some knowledge. But I'm a person that we're gonna have to literally wake up now, right? We can learn from certain books, yes, but there's gonna be a time I feel like some of us are gonna have to be called out to actually lead, right? Because there's so many, because like you can give a book, right? People are like, oh, what's the reference? And then they don't like the author of the text. So you're gonna always have something. And then what's sad is people always talking about like Christ is coming back. Y'all don't know if a Christ can come back through a child. Y'all don't know, like, and that's just, I'm just saying this for my religious people. Because me, in my personal opinion, the Christ energy that y'all feeling for is really just spirits, like Holy Spirit. I don't really, from my perspective, I don't see it being a physical person, but that's another story for another time. Y'all don't have to agree with this part of the video. But again, man, you're looking for stuff outside of you when the one creator, the God source, is everywhere. It's like, as I'm speaking, it's with me, it's with you, it's with everybody. Well, we are here trying to find everything that's right in front of our faces, and we're going through false prophets and men just to find the truth. When we can find the truth for ourselves, we just sit down and calm down and relax and stop being so much on the news, or just keep looking in scriptures and scriptures when you got to keep deciphering and deciphering. And they be like, well, if you really with it, you can hear it, you can see it. No. Everybody has different truths, man. All right, until people wake up to this, you're following men, right? And then to me, the 666 is just us. We are the ones in the flesh. We used to be light bodies. Now we're in the flesh, confined because of the fact that we want to learn, we want to do things, right? So when you wake up in the mirror, like you are looking at the dark and the light within you. You just got to find out how to actually find the real true source, which is love, the Godhead or Goddess head, whatever you think it is, to elevate past this lower level of consciousness. Because of the fact right now, we are pretty much, how do I say this? We are beneath the luminaries, the archons, which are the astrology spirits, what do you want to call them, planets, and they are with all in our chakras. And that was the hidden knowledge that we weren't supposed to find out. And those are the ones that's really controlling the reality of us in the physical world. But beyond them, beyond the aspects of the luminaries, is the omnipresent God, whether you want to call it Christ or whatever, or a goddess, whatever y'all want to call it. I'm not here to put a title on it. But that's what's controlling those luminaries, which they're within a womb, which is the dark matter, which is the space. Right? You can. I'm telling you, man. It's just is unique if you really look at this, and then they demonize Earth because it's very to me it's very feminine, and a lot of coaches don't want to give feminine energy acknowledgement to know that they are powerful, they are strength, they are the creators, and it's just men who are too much. I don't know if I want to say ego, but just too much into themselves, especially back in the day. In ancient times. But what's crazy, we still following these ancient men, whether we want to believe it or not. A lot of the books, even in religion. And to me also, no matter what religion or spiritual belief you are in, other than you trying to go towards love or a God source, I realized through my, like, for me, feeling spirits and seeing spirits, a lot of the people, whatever you believe in, you go in the same box. So even if you're a Muslim, you might not want to believe this, and I'm not down anymore. You're Christian, you're going to all go in the same place because y'all all vibrating on the same level, and that's where you're going to go most likely. Unless you're a different kind of religious person who's a little bit optimistic, like meaning non-denomination. Like say if you're a Christian, but you don't really claim Catholic, you don't claim Lutheran, but you're just open, you'll probably go to a higher state. And I'm not saying they won't, but it's because, think about this. We've all came back here over and over. Evidently, we didn't learn a lesson for us to keep coming down here. So even if some of us came here to help Earth, evidently we didn't learn something, right? And a lot of us were pastors and popes before. Some of us might have been witches. Some of us might have been people who hurt people, warriors, and we always keep coming back, right? And then if you want to look at it from the alien standpoint, for people believing in aliens, I've only seen two things that are similar to the alien notion, which is like, which I want to call reptilians and things like that, or you want to call them demons, or whatever you want to call the name. There are certain energies that want to keep us bound, right? But they're just interdimensional creatures. Like, I don't look at them out there. They're here, mainly, you know. So, and again, as far as you really have to awaken your conscience, okay? And right now we're feeling the shifts of age of Aquarius because the people who are more stuck in the Pisces age, especially if you're like overly religious or very like a fanatic, like you, it's like it's hard for you to want to brace this. But sadly to say, when the old generation passes, for the sprinkles of young youth are still in that mindset, it's not going to be much. And so they're going to be breaking in a problem, maybe stronger people in the religion, but most likely a new way of thinking. And that's what the old heads are afraid of. To me, a lot of people born in the baby boomer days, and maybe even the Generation X. I'm not down to any of y'all, but again, unless you're very optimistic, man, you're gonna get like, you might get left behind to keep doing things. And then you see us hooked up with technology. The angels showed me technology where people hooking themselves up to bodies, want to be God, and then they almost destroyed the whole earth, which was crazy. What I mean by earth, I mean as far as nature, the plants, the food, right, how to live, and the population was low. Then I had another vision after that where the world finally got peace, and the sun was closer to us, and we were able to speak to the source, the God, or whatever you want to believe in, telepathically, and we were able to talk to each other telepathically as humans without our mouth movements. And I can see that less people had to come back on earth because a lot of karma was dealt with and healed, and it was definitely a lot of less people here. But the sad thing is nature was really destroyed, and we had to how can I say, nurture her back to a more higher state as far as like growing the plants, you know, in love. So yeah, I got a little off subject on angels, but this is all technically what I see from the angels, but also what I see in my personal life from being in the military and out and traveling, and also coming from a family that was like very strong in Christianity, and also having friends from different backgrounds. Like my ex-girlfriend, she was Buddha. I learned a lot from them, and like see what they go through. Like I'm not that, but just seeing and learning why we are how we are. And the main message, by the time I'm like pretty much what I'm trying to round it up to, is this. In conclusion, is that continue, if you do your best, to love each other and love you, and acknowledge that there is a higher source that created us. And do know that I'm not trying to force this part of the belief on you, but there is a life review. I don't really want to say a judgment, but you are, in a way, it's about your reaction. So however you react in your life, if somebody cheat on you, do anything like that, and you decided to get sad, that's your reaction. So now you got to make sure you don't get too depressed where it causes an illness, you know what I'm saying, or an addiction when people hurt you, or if you don't go out and lash out, because if you do this, that's like a karma strike, and then the planets keep track of this. And so when you come back in your next life, all they're doing is shooting this back down to you. You don't remember it. Like you might be 8 years old again in another life, and you might get hurt, and you don't know why, because your past life, and you're not supposed to remember it, because some of us did a lot of bad stuff in our past life, and the divine source of love doesn't want us to have to remember these horrific memories. Okay? So again, just like if you're into tarot or church or anything like that, it's already embedded you to be into that energy. And a lot of those who can't control, how can I say, their mindset and level it out, whether they're doing mediumship, tarot, or even in church, you need to ground yourself, because you probably have negative spiritual attachments trying to make you go crazy. But you think you're going crazy because of what you chose to do, whether a certain religion or even doing mediumship, but it's you not protecting it, and it's just karma, because again, you might have had a life you try to take people out. So you might have been going through peaceful times all the way between you 30, and now you're getting hit up with all these negative stuff. Is really your fault. You just got to be aware of that. And yeah. So, and again, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You just got to make sure you stay in the energy in your heart space of love, because this is what you're getting. And from my perspective, sad to say, there is some type of judgment from what I can tell from your heart. It's like your heart records everything, because your heart has brain tissue in it, and the spirits, when we pass, they really, like, the omnipresent is looking at how did you live your life. And then again, like, even if you forgive yourself or you try to be nice, it's still going to see if your heart is lying. So like your brain thinks you forgave people, but your heart isn't remembering it. And when the spirit sees that, that's what's going to happen. And if you don't fix it now, when you leave here on the afterlife, you're going to have to fix it. Whether you believe in a purgatory state or something like that, they're going to put you through chaos because you didn't do things right. And if you're a religious person, if something was off, you're going to have to learn that, or you choose to be a guide to help humans, right? Or it'd be 500 years later or 50 years later, you incarnate, you're going to have to go through that to learn them lessons. Yeah, so it's never good to just keep blaming everybody for everything. Don't be a victim. It doesn't mean that we should condone and glorify negativity, energies, and war. But I'm just here to make a statement, man. So when y'all resonate with this video and y'all stayed in here this long, hey, so be it. And I'm grateful for y'all. That's just my little spill from angels and a lot of my visions I've had, and just what I see from my personal experiences. All right, so I just, here to wish peace upon everybody. Please don't judge me. And if you don't like this video, it is what it is. I'm not here to gain your favor. I'm just here to show you some love. I just ask for the same respect back. So with that being said, my name is Knight, and blessed be everybody.